Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be having an early look into Thanksgiving week here, and it's certainly going to be interesting for us here in Central and Eastern United States. We'll also have a little talk about what's going to be happening here this week as well here in the United States. So we're going to start with the GFS model here, and what's been going on right now, we still got the Alberta Clipper system in the northeast that's bringing in rain and snow showers across the northeast. There's a little piece of energy that'll be moving in across parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota. That'll be moving to the southeast here. Actually, quickly to the southeast. You can see here how it moves on very quickly here. Big come into a brief shot of some light snow mixing with some showers. It's not going to be a big deal or anything. Eventually, it should subside when it moves into the mid Atlantic by tomorrow night, or actually tomorrow, I should say. At the same time, though, there's going to be a big storm system that'll be moving in the northwest as well. We got a strong low that happens in Alberta that eventually going to be moving into Saskatchewan. Correct me if I pronounced that correctly. I'm not sure if I did or not. Apologize if I did it. But anyways, this is not really going to be a big system for us here in the United States here, other than it's going to bring a lot of wind for a lot of us. It will certainly be windy across parts of the northern plains, Midwest. It'll also be on the windier side across parts, really anywhere from parts of the southern plains up into the Ohio Valley region. And we're probably talking about wind gusts maybe as low as 25 to maybe as high as 40 miles per hour. So it'll be another gusty day for a lot of us, especially when you kind of get into Wednesday into Thursday. It'll be windy for a lot of us here. Then you get this another shot of some much cooler air that moves into parts of the central United States as well here, along with a cold front here. There may be a chance that on the back end of that precipitation shield, there may be a little wintry mix, especially when you get into Wednesday night. The GFS doesn't really show that. However, it does show some of that action when you get into the Northeast by Friday morning. Especially in those higher elevations here in the Northeast, could see around some snow up there as well. At the same time, here's another system that arrives to the Northwest as well. The Northwest. You guys will be staying active at least for the next few days, but eventually we'll start to see a pattern change. A ridge will start to build across the western United States here. It'll be getting stronger as the days go on. And eventually, we're going to start to quiet things down for the northwest, which I'm sure some of you guys do need a break up there as well. All right, so now we're starting to enter Thanksgiving week here. So this is Sunday. This is getting a little far out, so things may change. So what the GFS is suggesting around this time frame, we got what looks like a little cold front right here that moves across parts of the central and eastern United States. That'll bring another push of some cooler air. May bring in some snow for the northeast. This is where things may get very. This looks pretty interesting from the GFS, but then again, I don't think this is going to happen. It's a pretty ridiculous run for the GFS. But if the GFS were to be correct, a strong low pressure system develops off of Delaware and Maryland that moves up the northeast here. If this were to be correct, this could be a major nor'easter. And you can see here by Tuesday shows a big blizzard for the northeast. Now, then again, this will likely change here. It's one run, one model. I don't think it's going to happen. However, it does bring along with a big trough out here, though, and that's something we're going to be talking about with this one here on this video here. Then another system moves in, not as strong as the last one, but low pressure system moves in, another cold front. So overall, it's going to be a pretty active pattern here for at least parts of the northern and eastern United States here. You get lots and ups and downs. You get cold shots, then you get brief warm-ups, cold shot. It's just an up and down type of pattern here. And it's also known as an active pattern. As well, you just see all these systems and cold fronts that just move through over to some of the same areas. So it's certainly a pretty active pattern there, what the GFS is suggesting. Let's check out the Canadian model here, and then again, very similar to the GFS model here over the next couple of days here. Strong low up into parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan, and big gusty across parts of the Northern Plains, Midwest, Great Lakes, even for parts of the Ohio Valley back into parts of the Southern Plains. Then again, some snow may try to mix in on the backside of that precipitation shield. You can see how that happens when it gets into the northeast. Things kind of quiet down over the weekend here. There is some from the Canadian model does show some showers and some snow in the higher elevations for California and Nevada. It's where things get interesting again. You get this big low that develops in upper Michigan with a strong cold front that moves in. On the backside, that precipitation shield, there's some snow in the warm sector. It's windy, some showers, maybe some thunderstorms. It's very windy on the backside of that low as well. And then moves off up into the northeast as well, and also becomes a very strong low as well. And then it seems like another piece of energy tries to develop into parts of the Ozarks and the Mississippi River Valley as well. And then again, different story from the GFS model, but they both do show at least an active pattern could be coming for next week, at least. And it has some troughs moving in, has some storm systems as well. So there is something similar here about what GFS came on. They do agree on at least there will be somewhat of an active pattern here for the central in the eastern United States as well. Let's check out the European model, and then again, same thing over the next couple of days. You see here maybe some snow mixing in higher elevations in the New England states. Another low moves into parts of the northwest. Looks like it doesn't do a whole lot of anything. And the European model doesn't seem to be as aggressive here with some of these systems here, but does show some troughs moving in across parts of the Great Lakes, Northeast, and parts of the Midwest and the Northern Plains as well, but not as active than what some of the other models are showing. Let's check out some of the ensembles here. This is the GFS ensembles. This is an average of 20 members here. So you got 20 individual models here, and they're all averaged out into this. So it's an average of 20 different model members, basically. And the pattern we're going to be seeing here over the next couple days here, we got this trough here that moves across the northeast here. That's associated with that Clipper system. Then you got a ridge of high pressure that develops over the Four Corner states out here as well. And that ridge may stick around there for a while at least. You can say it does subside a little bit, but eventually it will return later this weekend here, or later this week. Then we get a ridge that develops across parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. That's really going to be a brief warm-up because then this trough does move in very quickly here. Now bring in another cold shot as well. Ridge comes in. Another trough moves in. And this is where we're getting into Thanksgiving week here. So this is Monday. This is certainly a pretty good agreement here this far out. We are 180 hours out. And there's a pretty good signal here for a trough at a ridge somewhere in the United States. So you got a ridge out in the west that'll keep things warm and dry out there. And then you got a trough that moves in across parts of the Great Lakes in the northeast. You can see here how it gets pretty deep when it gets into Tuesday. Now we're starting to get a little bit far out at this time here, but even past 10 days here, it does indicate there may be some trough across parts of the Great Lakes, northeast. You also do notice here there's a little better agreement here that a ridge may happen somewhere across parts of the western United States, maybe off into parts of the Pacific Ocean as well. And then again, this is not a bad agreement for at least 10 days, especially for that ridge out there as well. That's the positive P&A out there as well. And you can see here, check out how that kind of deepens here, that trough there. The agreement gets better here when you get over 300 hours. That's pretty insane here, getting into late November. But then again, this probably will change here. But it's a very interesting agreement that we have here. So basically, you got a ridge across the west, a trough in the east. That's what the GFS Ensembles is suggesting. Let's check out the European Ensembles. Honestly, this is a little bit better than the GFS Ensembles. So getting into Thursday, you got a trough that moves across parts of the Great Lakes. Ridge kind of sticks around the Four Corners state. And then we get later, closer to the 10-day period. This is pretty impressive here for 50 members. European Ensembles has 50 different members here. And then again, this is average of all 50 members here. This is really impressive here for 50 members to average out like this. This indicates that there's a pretty good agreement here from the European Ensembles. Basically, what it shows here for Monday night here and Monday evening, you got a big ridge that develops across the west that's associated with that positive PNA. And then you got this trough here across the eastern United States as well. And then when you get closer to the 10-day period here, there's still a pretty good agreement here off the west coast. A ridge will likely be setting up out there as well, even up to 10 days as well. And you still got troughing across the northeast as well. And it does look like another trough may try to move in as well around that same time period as well. So certainly very interesting here, but let's kind of check it out in a little bit of a bigger picture here. We're going to talk a little bit about what's called tail connections. That's basically the PNA, PDO, EPO, NAO, NEAO. Those are the ones we'll be a little bit more focused on. And then we'll kind of move on to Thursday here and Friday later this week here. So what you got going on at this point here, it's not really a favorable pattern here by any means here. You still got that negative PDO going on, but there is maybe a chance for maybe a positive EPO as well, which does lead to some bridging across parts of Alaska as well. You do have a ridge off the northeast as well. You do have a ridge across parts of the Four Corner states and two parts of the plains as well. Look what happens here when you get into a Saturday here. Now, this is what we call a little bit more of a blocking pattern here. You got a negative NEO that sets up. You got a positive PDO and also a positive PNA. Keep in mind, there is cooler sea surface temperatures there as well, which is very interesting. And then you got this, I believe that's a positive EPO. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Positive EPO that kind of moves into parts of Alaska as well. And this is what we consider a blocking pattern here. And what happens here is that while these troughs here start to move in across parts of the central and also the eastern United States as well, you kind of see here how it kind of evolves here a little bit. And this is when we get into Thanksgiving week here. That PDO starts to become positive as well. It's been a negative PDO for at least 2 months now, so this will certainly be a big change here as well. Not necessarily a positive PNA here. Looks like it's closer to neutral here. But it does look like towards the end of the period here, looks like the PNA does become a little bit more positive. But check out this agreement here for the NAO region for at least 10 days out. That's pretty impressive there for agreement here for the NAO. And that's certainly a good sign here. If you want colder, snowy weather for eastern United States, this is a pretty good pattern here, especially for the NAO region. You got a positive PNA, you got a negative NAO. Now, we still got that EPO issue up there across parts of Alaska as well and British Columbia. You guys will probably be seeing a lot of cold and snow over the next probably at least a couple weeks here. It's certainly going to be cold and snowy for you guys up there. But down here in the United States, though, we may get some of the similar things here. But then again, we don't necessarily know too much about that yet. So it's too early to say here what we could possibly get out of the setup here. But all we do know is that we can certainly see some traffic across the eastern United States, which can lead to indication of a little bit of a colder and stormier pattern. Here's the European ensembles here, and agreement's even better here for 10 days out. Then again, a negative NEO looks to be in place here around the 10-day period here, and this is close to Thanksgiving here. And then you got this ridge here off the west as well. So this is certainly going to lead to a colder, snowy pattern across parts of the central and eastern United States as well. So definitely very interesting as well. Here's the CFS weekly here, and you can see here for the next, really for the next 7 days here. Lots of the troughing here will likely stay up into parts of Canada. We do have a positive P&A that does set up across parts of the West. And it looks like it does get stronger when we get to Thanksgiving week here. Couple things here. You have a little bit of a negative NAO up here. You got a positive P&A here. A little bit of a negative PDO here. Some certitudes here with the PDO here, with some of the model guidance here. If this ridge here does expand a little further to the north here, then that's what we consider a positive PDO. And then the EPO right now, I'm also been kind of going back and forth with this here, but I believe if I'm correct here, this is a positive EPO. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. For some reason, I always get that backwards. Um, but then again, this is still not a bad setup here for winter weather for the Eastern United States as well here with a blockade pattern like this. So something very interesting as well. And then you get to days 15 to 21. Pretty similar here. One thing I do know is here a ridge does move closer to Alaska as well. That'd be a much better blocking pattern as well. Still got the ridge across parts of the west. Continues to days 22 through 28. And this is where we get pretty far out. This will likely change here. It doesn't have a whole lot of skill this far out. But if it were to be correct, a ridge may try to build across parts of the northeast as well. But we'll see. Time will tell on that. Let's check out the Car Predictors Outlook here. So this is for temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days from the Car Predict Center. And it's not very impressive here look here, but there is a good agreement here. At least there's a decent amount of confidence that warmer average temperatures look to happen across parts of the desert southwest and Four Corner states as well, moving into parts of the Southern Plains as well. And there's some low confidence here. There could be a chance of slightly below average temperatures across parts of the north, the upper Midwest, moving into parts of the Mid Atlantic as well, and even for the lower Ohio Valley region as well. Here's precipitation here. It looks like it would be a little bit more active, really anywhere from the Southern Plains up into the northeast, and then kind of goes as far west as parts of Montana as well. Looks to be dry across the Four Corner states and a good chunk of the west as well. Now this is for Thanksgiving week here, for the dates 8 through 14 for Thanksgiving week. And you can see here, trough in the east, ridge in the west. So pretty favorable pattern here for colder and maybe a stormier pattern for the eastern United States as well. If we check out the precipitation here, it's a little all over the place here for precipitation. It's dry across most of the west and even across the Four Corner states into parts of the Midwest and the Central Plains as well. It's a little bit wetter, or a little bit stormier, I should say, across parts of the Southern Plains into parts of the southeast and the northeast, and also a low end chance for above average precipitation across parts of the Great Lakes region into parts in the Northern Plains. So definitely a very interesting setup here for Thanksgiving week here, and I'll give you guys another update if we do see any bigger changes. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you've got some questions about this, put in the comment section down below. I answer you guys some questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.